This is the 19th season of Bass Talk Live. BTL is presented by Bass Cat Boats, Strike King Lures, Aftco, Pro Guide Batteries, X-Zone Lures, Shoreline Boat and RV Repair, Spro, Gamakatsu, Big Bite Baits, The Bass Tank, Denali Rods, Beatdown Outdoors, and Sunline.
BTL coming at you.
Good morning and welcome to another exciting edition of BTL Bass Talk Live, where we are going to talk about bass fishing. Got a good guest on today. The last week, 2 weeks, I've been talking about average age and kids who were born in the late 90s and 2000s who are just kicking everyone's butt. We're going to have Ken Duke on in November, and I would be interested to see. I remember when he was first doing all these stats and stuff, probably 10 years ago when he first started jumping on BTL with Mark Jeffries. He was talking that average, I believe the average age of an Elite Series pro was 41 years old. And the thought process behind that is you're established. Either you have a second stream of income with a small business, or you have enough experience to actually make it through the opens to the Elite Series. Anyway, 41 was the magical age. And we'd point out exceptions to that rule at the time, Justin Lucas, a Jacob Wheeler, a Brandon Polinick, who at the time were in their early 20s. But as a whole, it was 40 years old. And then you look at the Bassmaster Open EQs, the 9 anglers who just qualified for the 2024 Bassmaster Elite Series, and the average age was 24 and a half to 25 years old, and the top 5 guys were average age was 23. Something I've been talking a lot about with established anglers who have been around a long time. Actually, this is how long. It's hard to believe that Jordan Lee is a cagey tour veteran, but he is. I remember when he was idling out for Auburn University there in 2011, 12, 13. Someone else who fished for Auburn and is our guest today and falls into the category of a young guy who's kicking everyone's ass and made the Bassmaster Elite Series in 2024 would be Logan Parks. Logan, thanks for jumping on BTL this morning.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. First BTL experience / appearance, so hopefully we keep getting on here. It's gotta be
Jeffrey started the Bass Zone, I think, before you were alive.
Probably so. Was it over 25 years ago?
Yeah, it was right around 25 years. Yeah, because you were born, the internet was a thing when you were born.
Yeah, I was born in 98, so I take pride in saying that I was not one of those 2000s kids, but it's crazy. I think I'm you're talking about the age. I don't know how old Kyle Patrick is, but I think
he's 25.
Yeah, I think me and him are third and fourth oldest out of the guys that qualified, which is
how old are you now?
I'm 25.
Okay, so John Garrett 28, Ed Milliken 34 blew the field away, and then other than that, 25 or younger. That's insane. I mean, did you guys look around when you qualified and were like, man, we kind of run this show now? I mean, you're a group of guys in your early to mid 20s who just made the Bassmaster Elite Series going into next year. You gotta feel like you're on top of the world right now.
Oh yeah, man. And I don't know about running anything, but I'm definitely very proud of how the season went. And after coming up short last year at the end of the year, it felt good, really good to come back and not only do well again, but actually qualify and get it done. That was awesome.
Talk a little bit about that last one. We had Ben Milliken on the show. He kind of had to make a little bit of a comeback too, as far as being on the outside and then moving in. Did you feel the pressure on the final day of that open at the Hairshank? You finished day 1 in 100th, and then you had a bounce back day on day 2 to actually climb back into the Elite Series Cup. But it's not that often that an angler gets a chance to put his boat in the water in the morning and say, I have every single goal that I've ever wanted to accomplish. I don't know if that's a goal that you ever want to accomplish, but the biggest hurdle to get to the Elite Series in the next 8 hours. Let's go do it.
Yeah, the pressure was on, dude. But I mean, to be honest, the pressure was on all season long. It felt like. I mean, I struggled a few different times. Probably at least 5 of the 8, or probably 5 or 6 of the 9 tournaments this year. I was, 80th or worse after day one, and was able to rally and get paid in a lot of those, even. And so that was that was something. If I can figure out how to catch them on day one this year, I think we'll do, pretty good. But the pressure was on the final day, and to be honest, it's the Harris chain. You expecting big bags, so I had a target weight in my head of needing about 14, 15 pounds to have a chance. And when I only caught 11 the final day, it was a long ride in. I was like, came so close once again, and we're just going to come up just short again. I was pretty disappointed when I got back to the ramp, and I actually checked in. I pushed it, man. I checked in with like 15 seconds.
Oh, really?
And, just trying to do all I could to get one more good bite, and then ended up being well inside. So I was very pleasantly surprised.
You talked about the day 2 rallies. What do you think? That's something that I struggle with. I struggle with putting 2 days together. And it's weird because at first I was really good at day 1s, and then I would suck on day 2s. And I'd be like, well, I have to figure out how to find it. Then the last couple of years, I've sucked on day 1s, and I've had really good day 2s. That's like the toughest thing in this game, is to put back-to-back days together, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a struggle for sure. It's something I've struggled with. It's kind of like you find all these places in practice, and day one, it's for me, it's kind of been like, all right, let's figure out like what's good, what's not good, and end up finding out what's really not good. And then day two, I feel like I've done a really good job at adjusting this year, whereas last year I didn't do as great a job at adjusting, and even sometimes completely scrapped what I was doing the first day and just went and ran new stuff on day two. And it's worked out good for sure. I think Toledo Bend was probably the biggest rally I had all season, the second term of the year. I was in 157th after day one. I think I had eight pounds or 10 pounds. I don't remember.
Yeah, that's what I had on day one. I had the smallest limit in the entire tournament.
Yeah, I think we were both in the same boat, because I had 5, and on day two I caught like almost 19, and I literally caught a 4-pounder in my last cast. Like I pulled up in front of the ramp just on this point that looked good on the map, and there was a mega school there. I was like, oh my gosh, like why didn't I get here sooner? Made one cast with a hair jig, caught a 4-pounder, turned my scale on. I was like, all right, number 3's got to go. Threw number 3 back, threw the 4-pounder in the live well, went back up, pulled the trolling motor up, went check down. It was crazy.
Did that make it? That had to have made it for you because of how tight the weights were there. Like that was probably a 2.5 pound cull, which probably was 50 points.
Yeah, I mean, I had to think right at 16 pounds at the moment, and that jumped me up to like 18. So I think I finished 49th. So it was a huge cull for sure.
Huh. How do you think you've been able to make such good adjustments? Like I said, you're 20 in your mid 20s. Usually adjustments, you've been told adjustments and decision making is based on experience. What do you think it is at such a young age has allowed you to have the maturity to scrap what you've been doing, to find new fish, to have those adjustments and not spin out like so many anglers do?
Man, having a positive, outlook on things for sure helps. Not getting down on yourself, even no matter how far back you are, especially on good fisheries like Toledo Bend. I knew that that's a place that 20 pounds is very possible. So it seems like a big feat that you need 20 pounds, but it's like it's only 5 bites really. I would say just time on the water. I've fished a lot more the past 2 years than I ever have, because I've been in college and had to go to school. Now I don't, so I get to go fishing a lot more. Having some really good roommates this year. I roomed with John Garrett, who also qualified, Jake Maddox, and Josh Bragg. And so
yeah, that's strong.
Being able to talk with them after the first day, and like, okay, what did you guys do? How did you catch them? That's helped a lot. Working together and sharing information has been a huge, I would say, huge advantage for us this season. And that's something I've also used to base my adjustments around.
John Garrett, naturally talented angler to me from the outside. I mean, I know him to say hi to and chat with, but just from the outside, it looks like he is extremely dedicated to the craft and not only a natural talented angler, but also works his butt off.
Yeah, he's one of the most hardworking dudes I ever met. I mean, I met him in college. My freshman year, I think was
he was at Bethel, right?
Yeah, he was at Bethel. We actually like bumped into him the first morning of our first college tournament, waiting on blast off, and he's been a good friend ever since, and he's super deserving. I couldn't be happier for him.
He's one of those guys that I think everyone knew was going to make it sooner rather than later. But I mean, you're in that boat last year, but I throw Sam George into that group too. There's a handful of guys that are always, it seems like, just like one bad luck break out of it for the last couple years. So it's good to see when those guys, actually come through, because there is a weird element of kind of like luck and last minute. I mean, if you look back over the year and been like, it's crazy how things happen when they happen to slide into that top 9.
Yeah, it is like that last minute fish catch at Toledo.
Mm-hmm.
That was crazy. I've had some crazy, crazy moments, man. I mean, to be honest, really the two that stick out to me the most are probably Watts Bar day 2 and I would say Lake of the Ozarks day 1. And like Watts Bar, I felt like I had a decent practice and just didn't pan out in the tournament. Only had 4 the first day. I lost a 2-pounder, which was, huge points.
It's like a 4-pounder anywhere else.
Yeah. And then day 2, it was probably like 1:30, and I had, I think I had 1 fish in the boat.
Oh, you're screwed.
Yeah, and I was actually running to a patch of submerged grass that I had marked in the back of this creek, and I was taking a shortcut between this island and the bank, and it had like a little like dip down, and there was some dude fishing there, and I was like, crap, I don't want to run over his line where he's fishing, so I sat down. There was like a little pocket to my right, and I was like, you know what, this pocket looks pretty good. I'll just try this. And I caught 4 keepers in there.
You caught him out of that pocket in between the islands that everybody ran through, where Coda was out there just going back and forth and back and forth?
It was in that big creek down by the dam.
Okay. So you were way down.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was like one of those fluke decisions of like,
yeah, this
pocket sets up pretty similar to where I was headed. And like, I don't want to run that guy's line over. So I just sat down here and just fish this. And then I ended up catching 4 keepers there, and I got 40th place and got paid.
Wow. 18 pounds, 11 ounces, 9 pounds a day.
Yeah, that was one of those super lucky, kind of things.
Or a good decision, because, I mean, I'm thinking you're 25 years old. You're like, crap, we're getting down towards the end. I'm up in it. This thing's slipping away. I mean, 99% of guys would be running like a bat out of hell, not paying attention, not taking the visual cues, the subtle things. So there has to be something in that makeup, something in that decision making that allows your brain to kind of slow down in that crunch time and realize, what the potential is.
Yeah, I last year I felt like in those situations I wasn't that great under pressure, and I felt like in college I kind of was pretty good under pressure. It's just like the last few hours of the tournament seemed to be like when we really caught them. Like we caught a clutch big fish, like made really good decisions, especially when we didn't have anything. And last year I was kind of focused on the points and in my head, like, oh, I'm screwed, And so this year, like, especially at Watts Bar day 2, I didn't have anything. I was fishing the dam at like 1 o'clock, and I just told myself, I'm like, no point of getting all upset, at yourself, because you're still out here fishing every day, and that's what you do for a job. And even if you don't qualify this year, then you're going to give it another go next year, and you get to do what you love, and there's no reason to be all upset about it. And kind of like just said a prayer and kind of was at peace with it. And then after that, I was able to calm down and catch those fish. I think that really helped out a lot.
Would you have been fishing like all? I mean, I assume like right now you fish full time. Like that's what you do. You have been trying to make the Elite Series. For those who don't know, I think everyone should know by now, but short memory, you and Tucker won $1 million on Table Rock Lake. Was that in 2022?
That was November of 2021.
Yeah, November of 2021. So they're like, oh yeah, typical kid, early 20s, no responsibilities, just goes out and fishes. You kind of earn the right to do that because, I mean, that involved like trucks and boats and split $1 million. Like that was, it was the biggest payout ever in a bass tournament in history. Yeah, you've won the biggest bass tournament in history. I never looked at it that way because even though Scott Suggs won $1 million and a couple guys won $1 million for the Forest Wood Cup for a couple years, didn't you guys get like boats and trucks and all sorts of stuff?
Yeah, we got 2 brand new Toyota Tundras and 2 brand new Nitro Z21 XLs.
Yeah, you've won the biggest tournament in bass fishing history, money-wise. What does that feel like?
That was crazy, man. It really was a dream come true. And at the timing, really, I don't think it could have been better for me because I was scheduled to graduate in December. So I won that like a couple weeks before graduation. I was looking at trying to fish these opens, and I had some good experience, at Auburn. I felt like I was able to at least get my name out there to some sponsors. And because Auburn student run, I was the president of the fishing team. So I was actually negotiating directly with these sponsors, and I had great relationships with them. And I actually had, I would say, almost every single guy that's still on my wrap on board before we won the Open. But the Open definitely helped increase, that financial stability to go and try it, and not even just to give it like a year, but actually to be able to give it its due time. Because I've always heard Seth Fighter once told me that, if you fish the Opens, you need to fish them for 3 to 5 years because on average it takes a person 4 years to qualify. So I told myself I'll give it 4 years, and that's probably the most I need to give it. And if it doesn't work out by then, I'll find something else. And so that kind of gave me that, like, I can do this for 4 years even, so that was huge. But it really was a dream come true, man.
Did you think of the financial windfall or anything during that tournament? Because I mean, how old was Tucker? Like 19 or something at the time?
I was I was 23.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was 23, and he was he was 20, I think.
Okay, but I mean, did that really register with you at the time? What is it like fishing for like $1.3 million for a day? Like, because I'm sitting here thinking about all these decisions that you're making. Like, boy, you really are tough when it comes to coming back on day 2. But then you go back to 2021, and you're like, well, yeah, you've been in some high pressure situations before. I mean, you went out on that final day on Table Rock, and you're like, hey, we catch him, we get $1 million. That's a 1 with 7 zeros behind it.
Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, to be honest, like I never really even thought about it. Like it just was such a crazy thought that it just didn't really register because we had college tournaments all season, and we had heard about the $1 million thing and never had a chance to fish any of those qualifiers. Then one day Tucker's dad texted us and was like, hey guys, like Tucker has a nitro, and at the time I was in a different boat. He was like, I can sign you all up. And the way it worked, it was like everyone can register, and then they pick 250 out of a hat. And it's like 250 guys fish this last chance qualifier 2 days before the championship.
Yeah.
And this was on Bull Shoals. And he's like, can you guys swing this? And we were already in South Carolina, I think, for a tournament. We're like, yeah, like let's try it. That'll be sick to try and fish for $1 million. So we drove from South Carolina straight there. We got drawn, luckily. Drove to Bull Shoals, which was just down the road from Table Rock. Had, I think, 2 days of practice and came in 13th place there. They took maybe the top 25 or 30 to the.
Didn't Milliken fish that and make a championship too?
He almost won that one. I think he came in second or third. And at that time, we came in 13th, and we made $2,000. And we were like, dude, like, heck yeah. Like, we just won $1,000 a piece. Like, let's go. And we qualified. We had, a half day of practice, and everyone else had been out there all week that had already qualified. And we just did exactly what we did at Bull Shoals, just look for bait, and kind of let the tournament days determine, how to catch them. And luckily, the format was everyone fished, 2 days for a total weight, and then they cut to 50 the final day and zeroed everybody's weights. So, we finally, caught enough. We would catch maybe 12, 13 pounds and then just go looking every day of the tournament, day 1 and 2, because we knew that the weights were, it was going to be tough, and there was no point in, railing on them. We may need those fish the final day, and if you're weight 0, there's no point of being in the lead before that. So that was our plan, and it worked out good. I think we're in 8th place after the 2 days, and they cut to 50, and the weight zeroed, and then just went fishing, man. I mean, everything just seemed to happen like it was meant to be. It was just things you couldn't do any wrong with. We had a camera guy in our boat. He was about to leave because we weren't catching anything. And every day they would get fired up around 10 or 11. Mm-hmm. And we had, I think, 2 keepers. And we were like, dude, like, we're going to catch them, don't leave us. Like, just bear with us till at least 11 o'clock. And then at 11 o'clock, around that time frame, we ran by a place that set up similar to what we were fishing, but we hadn't fished it before, and there was birds going crazy, a bunch of loons diving, a bunch of seagulls like flocking around. So we knew there was like obviously some bait getting pushed to the surface, and we pulled over there and dropped the troll motor in the water. And I think we had 15 pounds in like 30 minutes.
Were there just Easter eggs everywhere under the bait?
Yeah. Yeah, they were just loaded, dude. And we were just, that was really probably one of the first events that I caught everything solely on Panoptics and saw the power of it. And it was just crazy how we were catching these fish. They were under the surface, like maybe 10, 15 feet deep. Even some of them were down 30, 40 foot, but they were suspended over like 150. And the only reason we even knew that bait was there is because of the birds. So luckily, just knowing to look for those birds, that was, a big key of just being on the water and knowing what birds do and how the bait can be pushed up because of the bass. And luckily they weren't stripers. They were all big, smallmouth and spotted bass. But I caught a 4-pound smallmouth that ran straight at us, and I thought it was small, and then dove under the boat. And when I pulled it back up and we got it in the net, my hook was almost completely straight.
Oh my gosh.
So stuff like that, man. It was crazy. We pulled back up to the same place with 30 minutes left and caught 2 3.5-pound spots and pulled up to the winning weight. So just it was one of those days that you couldn't do anything wrong for sure. God,
were you guys like screaming and high-fiving and stuff, or was it pretty like you both of you guys seem like fairly mellow individuals? Like you're just like, oh yeah, that's a big one. Or were you guys like going just nuts?
Oh, we were getting hyped, dude. We caught that smallmouth, and like I said, we had 12 pounds the first 2 days, and I thought best case scenario we could probably catch 15 if we got 5 3-pound bites, but we'd only been catching 1 or 2 3s a day, mostly like 2.5 pounders. So we were just looking at like, all right, 15th place is paying like 30,000 or something.
Yeah.
Nuts like that. Like, we didn't even contemplate the possibility of winning. And then I caught that big smallmouth. I'm like, gosh, this one's a lot bigger than anything we've seen this week. And then we turn around, look at our scale, and we got 16 pounds. I'm like, dude, we could have a chance with this. And I don't know. I just never even thought about winning it, to be honest. Like our camera guy, I remember he asked me a question in the middle of the day. He was like, what would it be like to win, the $1 million? And I was like, that would be pretty cool, man. And he was like, that might be the understatement of the year. But I just had no idea in my mind of actually pulling it off.
Are those trophies on either side of that?
Yeah, they are.
Did you get to keep that one of those?
Yes, we did. We got to keep both of them.
what do you do with a trophy that's that big?
It's huge, dude. It took up our whole coffee table. I had it in here in the living room, but my fiance made me put it upstairs, unfortunately. I like looking at it though.
Yeah. How cool was Johnny Morris? So I just got to hear him talk at the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame banquet, and we obviously know what he's done for bass fishing and conservation and all that. Like, did you have some like one-on-one time with Johnny?
Yeah, we did. We actually got to go to this fancy dinner they had the night before because Tucker's dealer, Lee Holmes and Sylacauga Marine, Lee had qualified, and they're one of the biggest nitro dealers, if not the number one nitro dealer in the Southeast. And so they had like a special banquet / dinner at that Top of the Rock place there.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, it was super nice, and had like all the guys there, all the Bass Pro pros, Randy Howell, and Mark Daniels, and all those guys were there, and we actually got to go and have dinner and shake his hand the night before the final day, and that was really a cool experience, just getting to meet him. And then when he saw us on stage, he like obviously recognized us from the night before and was like, so happy for us. He came up to me and just gave me a hug, and I mean there was just like tears streaming down his face, and it's like,
yeah, that's a freaking ideal scenario for Bass Pro Shops for what they were trying to do with that tournament circuit, and then to have two young anglers like that who fish collegiately tournament fish to represent them. Did that turn into? I see you got that's a Bass Pro Shops hat on now. Did that turn into like a sponsorship with Bass Pro Shops following kind of that year as the reigning champs?
Yeah, so they there was nothing like in the rules.
Mm-hmm.
If you won, you get a deal or whatever. It's just like, here's a boat and a truck and this money, and you can do whatever you want. But we kind of negotiated something, and they wanted to work with us. I think Johnny said something on the stage to me towards the end of the weigh-in, and was like, we'd like to visit with you about working together in the future. I'm like, dude, absolutely. Like, it's always been a dream of mine to give it a go, and to get to work with an awesome company like Bass Pro Shops. That would be ideal. So we were able to get in touch with Bass Pro and work something out, and I've worked with them for 2 years now, and looking forward to hopefully getting something put together for next year too. It's been a great partnership.
What was the media exposure like following that win? Not from the fishing websites and shows and things, but I mean, you guys did like national big time media stuff for the $1 million, right? I mean, what was the craziest interview that you think you did following that win?
Craziest interview.
I mean, you did like some national news stuff, didn't you?
Yeah, we did a bunch of stuff. I'm trying to think about what would have been like the biggest one.
Because that is a PR machine over there at Bass Pro Shops. Like their marketing PR machine. It's not like someone in an office. It's like the wing of a White House.
Yeah, I would say just all of it put together. I mean, it was like, we never got interviewed on like Fox or CNN or NBC or whatever. Like, we never went on like a big show like that, but they talked about it. Like
Mm-hmm.
It was like an event that was so big that it gained a crazy amount of attention, probably more than anything I've seen. And so as far as like growing the sport and getting, popularity on bass fishing, I think that was a major event for that. I mean, it was
Mm-hmm.
really cool to see how much attention that it got.
Just showing how powerful Johnny Morris really is. He has an event. He names it the U.S. Open. They're like, hey, the U.S. Open already exists. He's like, yeah, no, that's cool. We'll still do the U.S. Open. So now you've won the Bass Pro Shops U.S. Open. Dude, you got to go out to Mojave or Meade and try to win the One Bass U.S. Open. Now, like, could you imagine if you were like, yeah, I've won every U.S. Open possible to win?
I was actually talking to my buddy Julius Macy.
Dude, I love Julius.
Yeah, Julius is the man, and we've been fired up about trying to go out there. Me and him and Jake Maddox have been for a few years, but last year there was an open on top of it. This year there's an open on top of it, and next year there's another open on top of it. I'm like, come on, like,
Wait, you're fishing the open still?
Yeah, well, next year I'll have a chance to go, hopefully, but I really did want to fish Hartwell. So
I hear you.
it's like drive 3 hours and probably get paid, or like drive 37 hours and maybe not catch a bass. I don't know. If the other one would be a good financial decision, but I told Julius, I was like, I could be the first person to win both US Opens.
That would be phenomenal.
That would be sick. I definitely plan on going out there. If it's not next year, it'll be, I want to make it a yearly thing to try and go out there and fish that, because it seems like such a historic event too.
It is. It just went down last week. Grover, I believe, got the W in that. I always try you, like, you don't want to, like, in the Opens on guys that you know but you don't know, like when you go over and say hi to them, you know how you like don't want to like overtly look at the stuff they have tied on, like in the tournament or practice, like just to kind of, you just kind of make sure that you like let them know, like, hey, I'm over here to just say hi to you, not to see what the hell you have tied on. Mm-hmm. Dude, I always look at what Julius has on the front deck, because he's always got some wild stuff up there, man. Like there's always like glide baits, everything's like so meticulous and neat. Like I just walk over and start looking at his front deck and I'm like, hey, what's up, dude? I mean, because it's nothing I even own, and he's got like 20 rods all with just like wild stuff on it. Yeah,
dude. Julius is he's got that, the hookup tackle, and they've got all kinds of crazy cool stuff. He's definitely got some of the nicest tackle I've ever seen out of anybody in the Opens, I bet.
The glide baits, everything
up there for sure.
All right, we need to take a break. When we come back, you also have the Logan Parks Fishing Foundation, and you have a combination high school college fishing deal. When we come back, I want to get your take on both high school and college fishing, because it's exploding right now. And I want to get your take on what you think the best direction for that is, and then kind of go into that tournament that you're hosting, sponsoring.
Yeah.
Combination of both.
So,
all right. It is BTL. Well, we've already made it to Tuesday. It's BTL on a Tuesday, right? Today's Tuesday. Yeah, today's Tuesday. We'll be back right after this.
The new Puma STS has been redesigned from the ground up. With the angler, design, function, and performance in mind, nothing on this new offering was compromised, and the only thing carried over from the previous version is the name. Based on the Soft Touch series hull that started with the flagship Jaguar, this new model is nimble and performs incredibly well at all speeds with either a 250 or 300 horsepower engine. Featuring a new 96-inch wide-body footprint, this hull measures out at 20 foot 7 inches in length. Industry-leading design coupled with tournament-winning performance. The Puma STS from Basscat. Feel the rush.
Guys, if you're a construction worker, soccer dad, soccer mom, you want to be outdoors, you've seen the Reaper. This right here is the zip-up full Reaper, but it's windproof, folks, windproof, and it actually has the mast built in. It's behind me. I mean, if you can look good, feel good, and stay warm, you better check it out. It's the zip-up Reaper. That's right, windproof.
Shoreline Boat and RV, dock rash, storm damage, collision repair, that deep scratch or gouge from trying to access that secret creek. Shoreline Boat and RV can get your prized possession back in mint condition and looking good on the water, fast. All repairs are done in-house, so they're able to get your boat or RV back to brand new, quickly. All Shoreline's work comes with a rock-solid warranty. Find out more at shorelineboatandrv.com. Kansas City, Austin, and Tulsa.
Elite Series Pro Daryl Gleason here. My Pro Guide batteries keep me going on those long tournament days and long practice days. Always plenty of juice, never fail. The best part about Pro Guide batteries, it's the people behind the company. They have over 40 years experience in the battery business, keeping all of us fishermen out on the water longer, catching more fish. Check them out at ProGuideBatteries.com.
What's up, Bass Talk Live fans? Brandon Polnick here. And ever since I won a couple Bassmaster Elite Series events on X-Zone Lures, I've been getting a bunch of questions of what makes them so special and different. And really, the truth is, it's in the details. The little details, things like no cheap fillers in their plastic. That gives you more lifelike action, more realistic and vibrant colors. But don't just take my word for it. Go to www.xzonelures.com and check them out for yourself.
The great thing about the new Sensation soft plastics from Big Bite Baits, heavily scented, super soft, buoyant, comes in 7 great new shapes. I've got a couple of them of my signature series, the cliffhanger worm and the ramtail craw. Great for a flipping jig, football jig, swim jig, all that. Several other great shapes. Really excited about it. We've worked over the last year, catches fish all over the country, and I think it's going to catch fish for people everywhere you try it. The Spro Little John crankbait has been around for almost 15 years, and it is one of my go-to crankbaits whenever I need a fish in the boat, so you can never have enough new colors. That's why Spro's coming out with a handful of new colors, including Pearl Shad, which has this bleached out white look, but it's got this pearlescent, really, really pretty. We've got Copper Shad, which looks amazing in the water. It's got that purple flake on the back, really, really pops in the water. And then if you want some real pop, we've got Sparkle Shad, nothing but sparkles all over this thing. And then last but not least, we've got the matte Sexy Shad, just a really different looking color for a crankbait. So you want to give them a little different look, that matte Sexy Shad is definitely the one to go with. All these colors are available in the original Little John and the MD.
All right, welcome back. Talking with one of the 9 new Bassmaster Elite Series anglers through the Open EQs, Logan Parks. Are you like ready for the elites? Like, I mean, I've always thought it ends in October, and then it's like, cool, you have like 100 days to get ready for the top level. You're talking boats, sponsors, electronics, entry fees, all sorts of stuff. Or are you like right in the middle of trying to just figure all this stuff out for next year?
Man, I'm just trying to figure it out right now. I mean, it's that's the one downside to fishing so late in October. I mean, I don't even know if you'd have 100 days, probably more like 40 or 50 to try and get everything lined up to where you can get your boat wrapped and get your new boat in, let alone get wrapped, get your jerseys in on time, all that good stuff. So in the process of talking with everybody right now, but I already paid my deposit. So we're in. I'm looking forward to it.
It's a fairly friendly schedule for an incoming rookie, especially with the elites having the 1 year since their tournament schedules announced the off limits. But I mean, a number of familiar fisheries from the opens this past year. Feels fairly manageable to you in your rookie season, just based on where you guys are headed?
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it a lot. I like the schedule a lot. I think it sets up well for how I like to fish. I like fishing offshore. I don't get me wrong, I'd much rather fish shallow, but I feel like I'm better offshore than I am shallow fishing. Like, I'm not like a Greg Hagney, go catch 15, 16 off the bank, no problem. But even though that's what I would rather do, I think that offshore fishing sets up better for me, and the schedule is going to be, I think, a lot of offshore fishing. I've been to 8 of those 9 places already in college and in the opens last year. So that's cool too. I've got some familiarity with the schedule. Just never been to Fort, so probably go check that place out in the next month or so.
That's easy. I hear you just dump your boat in and just run. If it's open water, you run it. If you can see it, you can run it.
Yeah, just dodge the stump sticking out of the water.
I wouldn't recommend that. Offshore, are you a straight scoper? Are you one of these new age scopers, or are you a guy who utilizes it?
I use it a lot, yeah, but I'm not like, let me get to the boat ramp and put the tromo in the water and go scoping. Like, I feel like I just use it to learn how these fish react to my baits and how they're setting up on the structure. But I still find a lot of stuff with side scan. Most of everything I fish, I find with side scan, whether it's a group of fish on like a hard spot or a rock pile or a brush pile. I mean, most everything I fished this year, I found on side scan. and then I use live scope to be more accurate. But it's not like I'm just trolling in the middle of nowhere, you know. But I've done some of that too. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do whatever I got to do to catch a bass.
I think there's a perception that like 7 or 8 out of the 9 guys who qualified get to a body of water, go to the biggest basin, put the trolling motor down, and just start zigzagging across the dang thing until they see a fish, and then cast repeatedly till they catch it.
Yeah,
that's not how it goes down.
I'll give you an example of how easy it is to catch them scoping. We had the Toyota Owners Tournament first time I got to fish it, and the last time I get to fish it this past weekend on Pickwick, and we just tried to go out and live scope, and you know, we live scope structure, you know, like just current breaks and you know, ledges and brush piles and rock piles, that kind of stuff. But I bet we threw at 300 fish, and we caught 3. So that shows you that it's not like, oh, I'm just throw these fish until they bite. I mean, there's a lot of fish that just don't bite. I mean, that's just part of it.
Are you a 5 transducer guy?
No, I'm not. I mean, that's I guess I might have 5 in total, but I've got a Humminbird transducer, I've got a Lowrance transducer, I've got 360. I really like 360. 360 is it's an awesome tool. And then I've got, you know, a Garmin LVS 34.
Yeah, so you got all 3.
Yeah, I've dabbled around with all of them just to see what I like. I don't know what I'm going to do next year, but definitely a big fan of mixing it up.
Any new sponsors or anything for next year on the Elite Series that you've locked up?
Not anyone so far. Just trying to figure all that out. Honestly, still, that's what my plan is this week. Send a bunch of emails and get in touch with everybody.
All right, so you run a Fishing Chaos wrap. What is that?
So Fishing Chaos is a lot of things. Basically, their main gist is that they're a platform that allows tournament directors to run tournaments more efficiently and effectively and gather better analytics and information from the anglers competing in those events. It's also a place that charter captains can completely manage their business through. You can book trips, schedule, you know, whatever you need to do, mark your calendars on that. So I've got a guide service that I manage through Fishing Chaos as well, just here on Lake Martin around the house. And they're also diverging more into the actual like fishing industry space, business wise. They've got a lot of really cool things they're working on that I can't really talk about right now. That's more marketing directly with the brands that I think will be really exciting. And I think you're going to find out what Fishing Chaos, you know, can do here in the next couple of years. It's going to be awesome.
How long has it been around?
So we met them at ICAST my freshman year of college, which was, I think, around maybe 1 or 2 years after they had just gotten started. And that was, I guess, 2018.
Okay.
We met them when we were down there fishing for Auburn, and they were like, "Hey, War Eagle guys," and we had our Auburn jerseys on. They ended up they're all Auburn graduates, so that was cool. And kind of got in touch with them. Then they started sponsoring the team, and I've got a great relationship with John over there. He's the owner of Fishing Chaos, and when I told him I wanted to fish the Opens, he was the first one to jump on board with me. So I'm very, very thankful for those guys. They've really done a great job, and they've got a lot of cool things going on.
Okay, I don't feel as bad now. So it's like kind of the Swiss Army knife of
fishing, they
fishing
really
websites and apps and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, they've got an app. They got a website. They can really do it all. We're actually hosting my tournament that's coming up through the app. So I'm really looking forward to doing that.
Yeah. One of the other things that I definitely wanted to talk to you about, you actually sent me a link in our we had like a 3-minute pre-show meeting. I was pretty proud of myself. Let me see if I can pull this up right here. All right, there it is. So talk a little bit about this high school college chaos. I've seen you've been posting about it on social media. I've seen some other stuff on social media about it, but it's like a hybrid high school college tournament?
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what it is. It's the High School College Chaos presented by Abu Garcia. It's going to be November 12th on Lake Martin, and it's going to be an awesome time. It's a unique format where we have a college angler as the boater and the high school angler as his fishing partner. So we're going to pair a high school and a college guy up to fish together as a two-person team. With the way that high school and college fishing has just really exploded, I think this will be a super cool opportunity for recruiting for both college teams and high school anglers. We've got some big scholarships being offered up from several of the big college programs. Drury's got a scholarship, $60,000 scholarship they're offering. Bethel's got two separate high school scholarships they're offering. And really just wanted to create a unique opportunity to bring those two groups of people together, because I remember when I was in high school and then jumped into college, and it was like, whoa, like I don't know any of these guys. It's super overwhelming and kind of intimidating. And hopefully through this event, it'll be even a good networking opportunity for these guys to just get to know each other better. It's going to be a cool format, catch, weigh, photo, release. And we got 250 tournament scales that we're going to be giving out for all the guys participating. It's going to be a big payout as well. We've got $15,000 guaranteed for first place. Right now we've got 65 teams signed up, so pretty good odds. If you're a college or high school guy, you may want to look into getting registered, because I don't think you're going to find anywhere that you can fish for that kind of money elsewhere in high school or college.
Yes. So if you're a college or high school angler, you're eligible for it. If you have a kid who's a high school or college angler, you need to tell them about it. And when you said, when can you register up until?
So you can register all the way up until November 5th. Okay. Right now we've got over 15 of the top colleges in the nation participating, and we really need more college guys. So if there's any college guys watching this, we kind of depend on the college anglers, depending on how many boats we have, because they're the boaters. So definitely reach out to me on social media if you can't figure out how to get signed up. But you just go to the Fishing Chaos website or the app and sign up for the Logan Parks Fishing Foundation High School College Chaos presented by Abu Garcia. It's going to be an awesome time. We're doing some really cool stuff. We've actually got a draft. So how we're going to actually pair the anglers. The high school kids will fish and practice and submit their catches every day of practice, just like they were in the tournament. And we're going to rank them based on their best day of practice.
Oh, wow.
And we'll have a list of Jimmy caught 100 pounds on Wednesday and Tommy had 85. And so the list will go down one through however many teams we have. And we're going to pass that list out on Saturday. So the practice Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Saturday, we'll have the pre-tournament meeting. They won't be allowed to practice be an off day. We're going to hand those lists out to all the college guys. And in a random order, they're going to draft their high school partner. So it'll be really cool, I think. And we got a really cool venue, too. We're actually going to be having it in Jordan-Hare Football Stadium. So super excited for that.
Oh, yeah, dude. This needs to, I see a great opportunity for the high school kids. I mean, an amazing opportunity.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. I kind of, my goal for this is to, make it kind of like the pinnacle of high school and college recruiting. Especially for high school guys, there's a huge upside. Get to meet some of the best college guys in the nation, fish for a lot of scholarships and some, big prizes, big payout. And then for the college guys, come and make an impact on a high school kid's life. I mean, you have the potential to inspire someone to do something great. And this is a fantastic opportunity to boost your school and, in recruiting and get to know these guys and, win some extra money that may help you fish the opens or may help you pay off your student loan.
And no, the college people aren't boat captains. It's a team format. So they're both fishing equally. Yeah,
they're both fishing together, just like a team tournament. So
that would have been super cool. I could imagine if you're 15, 16 years old to hop in the boat with a dude who's got the Auburn jersey on or the Bethel jersey or, for those, let me put this up here just to make sure. So I was trying to find it. It's Fishing Chaos, CHAOS.com for those of us who are spelling challenged. And then this is what pops up if you're looking at the screen like that. And then you just click on find a tournament at the top. And there it is right there. Register, share, view rules. Also, you have the links on your social media information, Logan Parks Fishing, correct?
Yeah, everything's out there on my Instagram. Like I told you in the pre-meeting we had, I'm not going to.
It sounds so official, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm not going to go too into the weeds on the format of the actual tournament day, but it is going to be really cool. There's going to be like some brackets going on where if you catch them, you go here. If you don't catch them, you go over here, but you can still get back over here. Like, so go to my Instagram or my Facebook page and look at the tournament day format video explained, and that will really explain how it works. But
if there's an odd number, like let's say there's 300 high school kids, but like 150 college guys, how, because I've got people in this at feedback, he's saying, hey, I'd be interested in like helping as a boat captain or something if there's too many.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're kind of got our hands tied with the format for college guys. I mean, it depends on how many college guys we have this year for how many high school guys, or how many total teams we're going to have. We're pretty much right at dead even right now, but trying to boost that registration up. I think we've got 65 or 66 total teams signed up. And, this is just the first year we're doing it. It's going to be an inaugural thing. So I think we'll be able to learn, what we liked about this year and what we didn't, and hear back from the anglers and even adjust it for next year. So looking forward to putting it on. I think it'll be a lot of fun and a great opportunity for student anglers.
Did you do the high school fishing thing?
Yeah, I did. That's, kind of why I wanted to get this started, is because it's just something I'm super passionate about, that it resonates with me is high school and college fishing, and especially high school, because I started the fishing team at my high school when I was in 8th grade. That's when I actually fished my first bass tournament. I had always fished, but never competitively, and I didn't make the baseball team. Got cut, and I was pretty devastated about it. And it was like the fall of my 8th grade year. I'm like, what am I going to do with my life? Like, I don't know. I thought I was going to play in the MLB, and I started fishing. Where we heard there was fishing teams in Alabama. I think this was even before there was like an Alabama Bass Nation. This was
before it absolutely exploded.
Yeah, it was I mean, we started fishing in 8th grade, and there was like 100, 150 boats in these tournaments. And then by 10th grade, they started Alabama Bass Nation. And by my senior year, we were averaging like 350 boats.
What are your thoughts on that, Logan? Does there need to be, I mean, dude, you are right in the middle of this. You're a great person to ask about this. Am I the old guy who doesn't understand how this works, or does there need to be some sort of reformatting of how these mega tournaments go off in high school?
No, I agree 100%, man. I mean, like I said, like my senior year of high school, we went from having 150 boats to averaging like 350 a tournament. And Bass Nation in Alabama actually had to split and do a north and a south. And now, from what I've heard, they're having 250 boats per tournament per division now. It's crazy, dude. And I actually captained my cousin his senior year this year at the national championship they had at Hartwell for the Bassmaster High School Natty. And I think it's awesome. It's fantastic. I don't want to take away from how, it's great that we're growing the sport and getting these youth anglers involved, but we had 481 teams compete in that tournament. And like at a point, you just have to look at that and say, like, this is unsafe. You don't even have 3 ramps that can house that many people. And they're telling us just put in wherever. And then you got all these guys driving over in the dark in the morning. I mean, it's a bit extreme. I feel like a championship at least should be a little bit more exclusive and harder to make it.
That's from a safety standpoint and a logistics standpoint. I got emails about that tournament from boat captains who said, hey, our kids, by the time we got to the ramp in the morning to the time we took off, it was 3.5 hours. And they were like, dude, like they were over it before we even took off. Like we were boat 370. Yeah, and they literally took an 1.5 hour nap.
Yeah.
And then by the time you did the weigh-in and you did it, they're like, it was like a 21-hour day, and my kids were just over it. Like they were done in a national championship. That's a logistics issue. I feel like you can fix logistic issues, but it would have to become more exclusive, right? So I basically talked with Bass kind of off the record about this, and they said, hey, it was a percentage of the teams to qualify for the championship, whether I think it was like 10%. Well, that 10% is massive now based on the field size. So 10% 5 years ago would have been 200 boats. Well, now it's 430 boats, and they're like, we're still keeping it at that percentage.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've seen it from the boat captain perspective. You've seen it from the angler perspective. You excelled in college. You and Tucker were team of the year in 2021. What needs to be done to maximize the junior and high school experience? Like, is there a solution to this number of boats? Because like you said, growing the sport, it's great to get them involved, but at some point, are they not learning horrible habits and you're turning some kids off, and then it becomes all about the competition and you're not building a foundation and a base and actually able to run patterns and make decisions just because of how many boats are on the water and how much pressure are on these 12 to 16-year-old kids?
Yeah, I can't imagine that having 481 boats or whatever it was on a lake is great for the fishery either.
Yeah.
I mean, but I will say that I think Bassmaster did a fantastic job with handling that many. I was very surprised. You know, the logistics, that's a nightmare. And, you know, I can't imagine the economic revenue that the town got, because there was another, 150 or whatever it was tournament for the junior national championship like a couple days before ours. So that's awesome. I think that maybe we could look into having some regionals, and then, you know, taking areas and combining, you know, like the South. But the problem is a lot of it is the South.
A lot of it's Alabama, East Texas,
but
Illinois,
Alabama, like that's where I'm from. You know, I love Alabama and I want them to succeed. But I mean, I think they said that we sent like 70 or 80 teams to the championship,
national championship,
which is absurd. You know, that's like,
yeah, you don't want to rob them of a experience though.
Yeah, you don't want to. It's a tough, like, you know, I'm 50-50 on it, because I think that they did a good job with it. It was cool that they were able to handle that many, but you get much more than that. I don't know what you would do. I think maybe you have some more. You advance. You know, maybe make it like a bracket, like they do with college football. You know, and you get to regional, and then you have those guys compete, and you take a percentage of them to the championship. I think you still make the championship maybe 350 at the most. But I don't know. Definitely be interesting to see what they do.
Not a knock on either organization that runs junior and high school tournaments, but it's kind of they're victims of their own success in a way. And I feel like maybe the field has gotten ahead of how many of the tournaments. Like, I mean, you have something you don't expect it. It's like when you have a barbecue for 10 and 50 people show up. There's like, you know what I mean? Like, you have to be like, hey, we either need to like bring more barbecues next time or limit, you know, have an invite only deal. But like I said, it's not an anti-junior or high school fishing rant. It's trying to make that experience better for that next generation, so they want to come back, so they can learn the things that they need to in order to end up in a position like you are right now, which is qualified for the Elite Series. So you've seen this. You've been on the water the last year or two. Are these high school and junior kids, are they on the front deck, both of them looking at active target and scope, and just, is it freaky at 25 to see what the 15, 16, and 17-year-old kids are up to? Is it a whole nother level that's coming behind this, or are we seeing like kind of a plateau? Are they just out there? That's what I'm saying. Or is everybody up on the front scoping and hoping?
Dude, they're coming, man. They're coming for sure. You already see like Trey McKinney, he's 18.
Yeah.
He balled out this year, kicked my butt all year long. And I think you're going to see more of that. I really do. More guys that just skip the college step completely. And
No way. How do you do that? How do you have a foundation base? Like, is this a thing where you're going to have a ceiling of all these young kids and then it's going to crash because because it's all, is it all electronics based, or do you think it's because these kids are like, okay, there's a junior program, I can see the steps, I'm obsessed with it, I'm treating it like high level baseball, hockey, football, so my skill set at 18 is way higher than most angler skill sets at 18 were 20 years ago? You see what I'm saying there?
yeah, I see what you're saying. I try to avoid saying that it's all electronics based. I know people are probably getting fired up in the comments right now, but it's what it boils down to, man, is hard work. And these kids are going out there and fishing every day and like learning, and then they're, they have experience and time on the water. And I feel like these kids are working really hard to learn this technology and figure out when and when not to use it. And that's like something that I think high school is a great time to learn, trial and error of what's successful and what's not. But I mean, these kids are fishing more than I've ever seen. And yeah, like
That's good.
a lot of them are like, financially able to, and that's awesome. I think that's great. I'd much rather than be fishing than doing something else. You know what I mean? But I don't know. It's cool to see how the high school fishing has grown, and I think that the technology does help. I would say the technology helps decrease that experience curve. Like if you go somewhere new, you can figure that place out quicker with the technology versus like, I've been to Toledo Bend 20 times and, this is where they normally get kind of thing, which I think is good for young people. I do think that.
I would like to see, at the boat captain level, maybe a course when it comes to, I mean, dude, I've heard of so many amazing stories of boat captains who have gone above and beyond some of them aren't even their kids or any relation, of teaching the right way to do it and learning experiences on the water when it deals with finding fish, when it deals with fishing around other boats. But then you also hear of the 5% of boat captains who are in it to win it. And the kids are just, it's a feather in their cap if their kids win it. I think that there's also the perception that there's a lot of win at all costs now at that high school level, at that junior level, as opposed to learning, which is where the focus should be on. And it's an interesting dynamic because I think you're seeing it more turn into a recognized high school and college sport where there is a lot of pressure on performance. Did you feel when you were fishing in high school and college a pressure to perform? Or did you feel like you were learning and kind of whatever happened along the way happened?
I would say a lot more pressure in college to catch them than in high school. But in high school, it was a significant learning curve. Because, I mean, dude, we went from fishing ponds every day after school to like, okay, we're going to compete in our first tournament. Like, let's go fish a lake. Never done this before. And, give you an example of how little I knew in 8th grade of fishing. I probably shouldn't even say this story, but there was a senior on the high school team named Dalton, and it was the three of us started the fishing team. It was me, my friend Lucas, and my friend Carson, and we were like the three amigos. And we drew straws because Lucas's dad had the boat of who got to fish with Lucas, and the longest straw or whatever had to fish with Dalton. And we wanted to fish with Lucas because we didn't want to fish with some random dude. So I ended up getting paired with Lucas, and Carson got paired with Dalton. And I'm like, dang, maybe I should have got paired with Dalton because they came in 12th and got a plaque at the first one, and me and Lucas zeroed. But Dalton, we ran into him on the water, and they were like, hey, come over here where they were fishing this bridge. They're like, throw a shaky head on this bridge, on this riprap. And we were getting some bites, and it was on Weiss Lake. It was like 20 degrees, and it was snowing. My first ever tournament. So we were like throwing out there, and he's like, guys, you're fishing way too fast. And I'm like, well, if I don't drag it fast enough, the head doesn't shake. And he's like, what are you talking about? And he trolls over there, and I had a chatterbait tied on.
Oh,
It
God.
was a shaky head.
Because the head shook.
Yeah. So that we had a significant learning curve to overcome in high school. And we had some good events. In 10th grade, we came in third in the national championship, which was really one of our first tastes of good success that got us fired up. Like, we can compete at this and do well, and we want to get back to that championship and have another chance at it. But we had some awesome captains, like you said. Like, neither of our dads fished, but they had friends that did fish, and their friends took the time out of their weekends to take high school guys like us fishing. And I think there's a lot of awesome boat captains out there that, maybe don't even have a son, but they take these guys out there and
yeah, that's why you are right now. Like, you are a direct result of high school fishing.
Yeah, 100%, dude.
Yeah.
And
That's great.
I don't want that opportunity to ever go away, because it is such a cool. I mean, I get chills thinking about it. It's such a cool platform.
Yeah, and then Tucker will be there whenever he decides to be there.
Yeah, he'll probably make it in the first year he fishes. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, the Fishing Chaos High School College Chaos presented by Abu Garcia, Lake Martin, November 8th through 12th. With the weigh-in, you said the whole event is held at the stadium?
Yeah, so it's going to be a one-day tournament. Like I said, the draft is on Saturday, their off day, and then the tournament's on Sunday. It's catch, weigh, photo, submit through Fishing Chaos release format, but there's a few different brackets. But we're going to have 3 rounds, so 6 to 10 a.m., 10 to 1 o'clock, and then 1 to 3 o'clock. And we'll have the live leaderboard available on the Fishing Chaos app for the first 2 rounds. But when the round 3 begins, and the anglers will be able to see this as they submit their catches. But as round 3 begins, the leaderboard will disappear. So no one will know if they've won or not. They're actually going to have to trailer their boats back to Auburn from Lake Martin, which is about 30 minutes up the road. And we're going to have a trophy presentation and, hand out the checks and figure out who won the thing. The draft and all that's going to be in Jordan-Hare. And then the weigh-in, because there's not enough boat parking on campus, we're doing that at the Auburn Junior High School, which is ironically where I completely started it all. So
no way. That's awesome. Fishingchaos.com. Main website pulls up, then click on find a tournament right there. You can register. You can see the rules. You can share it. You can also go to Logan Parks social media, Logan Parks Fishing on Instagram, high school, college angler within 500 miles of Lake Martin. No reason you shouldn't be a part of this coming up November 8th through 12th. What else you got, Logan? You guide too?
Yeah, I do a little bit. It's more of I don't really have the guiding license, but on Lake Martin, the way the rules are, there's no lock, so you can just take people. I think Smith or whatever. So I'll just take people out and do, electronics training trips. I get a lot of, high school parents reaching out to me, seeing if I can take their son and teach them. So I like doing that stuff. I mean, I wouldn't be where I'm at today if guys didn't take me and teach me, like my dad's friends, and also college guys on the Auburn team when we were in high school took us out fishing. We actually went pond fishing one time with Jordan Lee when he was at Auburn. So,
really?
Yeah, it was pretty.
You got
crazy.
Any pictures of that?
Yeah, I got some photos.
Have you put it up? Have you posted any of them?
I'd have to look way back to find them.
Oh, dude, you gotta find that stuff.
Yeah, my buddy has probably some better pictures. I'll have to get it from him.
You gotta find those. So you were how old?
We started the team that year in 8th grade, and Jordan came and spoke to us. This was 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan came and spoke to us at one of our first meetings and wore his Auburn jersey. And me and Lucas and Carson were like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing ever. This dude has got an Auburn jersey on, and we had been following him and seeing that he was successful, and he actually singled us out because we reached out to him and like said thanks for coming, and he was like, "Hey, you guys know any good ponds?" And so we went to this juiced up pond, this private neighborhood that we like had to pull some major strings to get permission to go to, and Jordan was like, "Hey, y'all ever thrown a drop shot?" And he had like some robo worms, and we had never thrown a drop shot before. We're like, "No, like what is that?" And like, dude, we whacked them. Like probably, I think a few over 7 and like countless 4 and 5 pounders, and we were just bombing the drop shot in the middle of the pond, like catching them every cast. It was crazy, and it was cool because 2 weeks later he qualified for the classic, and like neither of us could drive. He came and picked us up from our house, took us pond fishing, and drove us home. And then we went to our first classic that year on Gunnersville, and he almost won. You know, like he had a good chance to win.
He would have. He had 4 fish, I think, on the first day, and then he absolutely destroyed everyone on the last couple of days, finished like 4th. I just remember that because he was punching real shallow dead stuff with a heavy weight, and those fish were getting up underneath it for warmth early in the year. He didn't figure it out on the first day. If he had, I'm not kidding, he would have won that classic as the college angler by like 12 pounds.
Yeah. I think he finished in 6th, and that was like the highest any college guy has ever finished. So, I mean, one of these days a college guy will win it. That'll be wild. But that was like what did it for me for Auburn. You know, seeing that Auburn truck and boat go across the classic stage at the first classic I'd ever been to. Like, this is where I want to fish in college.
I remember that classic. He had those 2 on that final day, and they were both like 8s. And he pulls them out of the live well, and he screams. Like you have that picture somewhere where he's wearing the Auburn, and it's like Auburn in the background, and he's got these 2 monsters. He's on his home lake at Gunnersville. It was, I mean, I still think probably the crowning moment for, outside of when Upshaw, I think, was the first one to cross the classic stage, but probably the crowning moment for the high school anglers in the Bassmaster Classic right there was when he pulled those 2 just beasts out.
Yeah, that was some of the coolest stuff I'd ever seen. Randy Howell had that.
Hold on, I gotta pull this up. He was on the show yesterday. That was just a total randomness. Yeah, I'm making Steve Kennedy proud. Look at this.
Steve was like,
that's it right there, isn't it?
Yeah, that's sick, dude. That was so cool to see that.
Hey, you're like sitting in the crowd in 8th grade, just jacked out of your mind.
Yeah, dude. We went crazy. We were like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me pull up. Let me see where what he actually did finish in that.
He had like 2 27-pound bags or something.
Did he not have just an awful first day?
Yeah, he had 4 fish for like 12 pounds.
He finished 6th. Oh, that was the one that Mueller had a freak show bag in.
Yeah, that was the one Randy Howell won off the bridge.
Yeah, so Randy Howell went 20 pounds, 18 pounds, 29.2.
Oh my God.
This was a Western classic, dude. This is an underrated classic. Paul Mueller went
this classic ever.
Paul Mueller lost that classic by a pound. He went 3 for 9.10 on the first day. Then 5 for 32.3 on the second day.
Jeez.
Then 5 for 24.11. He set the all-time classic heavyweight and lost by a pound with 13 fish. 1 pound, 1 14-incher.
That's tough. I didn't even know that he only had 3 fish the first day. I just knew he had the record for the biggest bag. Who came in third? I think Randall Darp was up there.
Yeah. Oh, so that was the one where Randall. So I'm still at odds on this one. I think that they kind of exaggerated how big the one that Randall lost in the laydown was to make it look like I never saw that fish. I've watched that replay probably 100 times, and I've never actually seen the fish.
Yeah, I'd have to see the video again. I just remember watching that video and being like, "Oh my gosh, like he lost the winning fish."
And the way he responded to that.
How much did he lose? Was he in third?
No, he was in like fifth. Ott was up there. Here, I want to see if remember that was the one where didn't he break down in that classic too, and they put a whole new was that an Evinrude or something back then? They put a whole new
I think you're right.
Like motor.
That was like one of the first years they were like doing the GoPro stuff. Like they had like all the GoPro footage of Randy Howell on that bridge. That was so sick.
I don't know. I can't find it. I just remember he slacklined that thing in that tree and the whole thing, but you never actually saw it. That was a very underrated classic. Randall Tharp, he ended up losing by 4 pounds, but he only had 15.7. Yeah, Jordan Lee went 4 for 13.7, and then he went 24 and 24.10.
Jeez.
On the last 2 days. By far the most consistent. He had 62.1. So he was a little bit over 5 pounds off. Yeah, if he had 19 pounds on the first day, he wins. And he called a number of times on the second and third days. I just remember like since he's from there, it was like that dead, is it hyacinth mats? Or I don't know if it's hyacinth mats, but it's like that dead shallow grass. It doesn't look like there's any fish in, and he was punching that stuff in like 2 foot of water, just wrecking them.
Yeah, that was sick, man. I'd like to see another college guy go and, like compete for the title, because I know that they can do it. I mean, there's college guys that if it sets up right for them, like that set up right for Jordan. Like a lot of these guys qualify, and it's like that set up good for how they like to fish. But
and what's even crazier is that they went back to back, Matt and Jordan.
Yeah, that was crazy, man. I think one of these days, I would say in the next 10 years, one of these days a college guy is going to pull it off, and it's going to be insane.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I got to know Louis Minetti over this past year. Dude, I like that dude, man. He's so easygoing, such a nice guy. Yeah, he brought like 50 people with him to the classic. Like, and they were all like straight Jersey. Like up there doing like shots of tequila after the classic was over and stuff, like celebrating that he had fished.
Yeah.
It was good stuff.
Yeah, that was really cool.
All right. Anything else you want to get in here before I let you go?
No, man, I think we pretty much covered it all. Just if you are a high school or college angler or a parent of or know someone, tell them about my tournament. I've been trying to get the word out as much as I can, make a good push these next couple weeks. And as long as they sign up before November 10th, which is Sunday, a few Sundays from now. So tell them about it. Get them to sign up. It's going to be an awesome time. And thanks for having me on, dude. Hopefully we can do it again sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. I enjoyed the heck of it. It's actually like long overdue. Like I've always meant to get you guys on or get you on after the US Open. And then, it all happens and everyone is on, and then the tournament season starts, and then it just never happens. So long overdue. Great job. I appreciate it, man.
Thanks, Matt. I appreciate it.
All right. Good luck next year. Good luck getting everything ready next year. It's going to be a stressful Thanksgiving, Christmas. I know all those guys they've done it for 20 years and they still think it's stressful. So the first one got to be cool. You'll look back, and didn't you say you have a fiance too? So then you're also getting married next year?
Yeah, we're getting married next December. So it's going to be a big year for us next year for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. 2024. All right, Logan. Thanks, man.
Thanks, dude. See ya.
All right, that was Logan Parks, one of the newest additions to the Bassmaster Elite Series. We're going to take our final break of the show. When we come back, break down what we have going on for the rest of the week. A little bit of an abbreviated week, a shortened week, but hopefully you guys will understand why when I explain what's going on. We'll be back BTL right after this.
Are you looking to install your own fishing electronics? The solution is the Bass Tank Power Harness. It takes the guesswork out of installation. No more voltage issues or interference. Designed by an engineer so that you can get professional results right there in your own garage. Installation done right with the help of the Bass Tank Power Harness. You can feel confident knowing that your installation was done right. The Bass Tank Power Harness. Give us a call or order yours today at thebasstank.com.
Get the best patterns backed by tournament data. Start by finding the best 10% of your lake. Know exactly what to look for and what to throw. After that, just put them in the boat. Try the Deep Dive app today.
Look at that beast right there.
Having confidence in your tackle while on the water is one of the main things to success, in my opinion. In the last couple of years with Denali, I've had just that. From anything from spinning rods, casting rods, tungsten products, even now to casting and spinning reels, I have the confidence to go out there and get the job done and know that all my equipment is going to handle it and do it just the way I want it. The thing about Denali is you've got great quality products at a great price point, so make sure you check them out. I'm the kind of guy that never leaves a house without a pocket knife, and Gamakatsu's come out with the EDC series of knives. EDC stands for everyday carry, so whether you're on the water or off, you can always have it with you. The best thing about it to me is that assisted open feature. With this D2 blade, you've got it right here at your fingertips, so if you can't find your scissors, you need to cut a knot, you need to cut your braid, you've always got it. Make sure you check it out. Never leave home without your Gamakatsu EDC knife.
Born in Japan, using technology, innovation, and precision, Sunline produces the widest selection of fishing lines at the most technologically advanced line factory in the world. Manufactured at the strictest tolerances to produce victories at the highest levels of tournament bass fishing. From household names like Christie, Swindle, and Cruz, to young guns like Cook, Logan, New, and Welcher, they all trust Sunline to take them to the top of the leaderboard. Choose the line that will give you the strength to guarantee your confidence. Sunline.
All right, we are back. We got 3-day week, and I wasn't intending to have a 3-day week, but we have a 3-day week. I'm going to explain why. So I got a message a couple weeks ago, or a week ago, from Brandon Burks. Now, if that name sounds familiar, it is because it is the young man that we had on this show last year, I believe. Hell, it might have been 2 years now, when O.H. Ivy was popping off, and he caught the world record meanmouth. But there was some deal with like multi-hooked lures because he was using an umbrella rig where the IGFA didn't recognize it. But at the time, he was like trying to get it recognized. But he came on the show and talked about it, gave a great interview. He's a guide and a electronics expert by trade. And so I think that record did not go through. But in his quest to keep putting people on giant fish, he messaged me a week and a half ago. He's like, dude, he's like, I can't tell you where and I can't tell you how. He goes, but I'm really dialed in. And I was like, okay, that's cool. He goes, I had a cancellation. He goes, I got an open day. And he goes, if we get sun and wind, he goes, we got a chance to crack 50. And I'm like, 50 fish? And he's like, no, 5 for 50. He goes, I'll send you the pin when you're on your way here. He said, the only day I've got is the 26th, which is Thursday. Okay, well, you know, my job is doing BTL, folks, but I'm also in the fishing industry. And I'm also a bit of a degenerate fisherman. So here, I got to share this screen here. So this is his Instagram right now. And I don't know, I do not know the name of this lake. I do not know where it is. He is based out of Texas. So, I mean, I know that it's within a radius because I can drive there, but I don't know. All right, here's his Instagram right now. Look at this. These are all like over the past couple weeks. He's dialed. Absolutely dialed in. So I called Frank and I said, dude, I'm not going to be in the studio on Thursday. I'm going fishing. So I'm going with Brandon Burks fishing. Would be exciting. We'll be excited to see how that goes. I've caught 3 10s in my life. It's been a minute. It's been probably 8 or 9 years since I've caught a 10-pounder. So, I mean, no pressure. I mean, if I go, I just want to kind of see what it's all about, what that hype of that big giant Texas fish is all about. So that's all we got. Like I said, if you know a high school or a college angler that Fishing Chaos high school college chaos tournament sounds like a great deal. Logan really brought it. Really appreciate him coming on, talking about a variety of things over the years. He seems like he knows his history pretty good too for fishing. But so tomorrow, day 4 on day 3 with Frank Scalish, and Frank is going to talk about his weight. That's right. It's all about weight and adjusting the same bait with different weights for drastically different results. A couple things. Check the link in the bio. It's that time of year. We're rigging electronics. We're putting new stuff on the boat. The Bass Tank has you covered with the Bass Tank Academy. Click on the link in the bio to check that out. Also, if you are fishing the Bassmaster Open EQs as a boater, AFCO is running the AFCO Bass Boot Camp again. First time they've done that since 2019. That link will also be in the bio of the show on YouTube, the BTL YouTube. An opportunity to get $16,200, the entire entry fee for 2024 Opens. Paid for. You have to be registered for the Opens or committed to fishing the Opens in 2024, plus a bunch of AFCO apparel and things like that. And then also excited. I made contact with Clyde Glenn, who won the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame BTL trip extravaganza, a bunch of AFCO stuff, a $250 gift card. He supported the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame. Now, I will admit, when I talked to him on the phone, he was like, hey, man, you're kind of second fiddle. He's like, I bid on 2 trips. He's like, you were kind of the backup trip. I really wanted to go Sasquatch hunting with Greg Hackney. I bid on that trip, but wasn't able to get it. And I said, you know what? I would much rather go Sasquatch hunting with Greg Hackney than co-host BTL as well. So fully understand that. But we are in the works of putting something together for him to be the co-host of BTL for a day in either December or January. So wanted to point that out. Also, thumbs up, like, share. The YouTube has been popping off. The downloads have been up. Massive support to the BTL listeners and viewers who take 5 seconds out of their day to leave a review, to leave a thumbs up. It may not seem like much to you, but for me, on the back end of things, as we go into a brand new year, that really helps with sponsors, with being able to bring more content, working towards being able to bring more content, more live content. So tomorrow, Wednesday, the 25th, Frank Scalish live, and then no show on Thursday. Thanks, Logan, for jumping on today. That's all we got. We'll see everybody tomorrow. Later.